Ukraine's counter-offensive efforts are undone, as Russia captured 2 villages. It's day 818 of Russia's operation in Ukraine. Let's dive deeper. Starting from Robotyna sector. The village, which Ukraine paid an extremely heavy price in their counteroffensive, was lost. In our previous report, we saw Russian forces capture trenches east of the village, thus gaining more stable control of the central part. However, at that time I reported, Ukrainian forces still had their units entrenched at the northern part, which Russian forces were actively attacking. Latest report says, Russian forces, after a couple of days of intense fighting, were able to take control of the northern part, and thus took Robotyna fully under their control. This was indirectly confirmed, as a Ukrainian drone was seen striking the Russian position. So the village has changed hands one more time. It must be very hard for Ukrainian forces to lose the village, where they paid an extremely heavy price. Russian sources claim their forces might focus on this section next, where highly fortified positions are located. Now moving to Chasiv Yar. Russian paratroopers along with several other units have activated this front, as they recently made significant advances. In our previous report we saw how Russian forces launched mechanized assault on the micro-district along this road, and were able to gain the foothold. However, in the last report I did not have the confirmation. But the latest reports confirmed they were able to take this area from the recent attack. Ukrainian forces did try to counterattack, but it seems like they failed. Now this was not the only attack. Recently Russian forces also launched an assault on the district from the southern side. Similarly, a video of Russian attack was shared by Ukrainian special forces, claiming they were able to repel it. But it turned out exactly the opposite. Assault was performed in 2 stages. In the first stage, Russian BMP along with armored vehicles advanced along the road and attacked the southern buildings. As soon as they were able to maintain the foothold, in the second stage, Russian armored vehicles moved deeper and started attacking these high-rise buildings. As a result, it was reported they were able to take this section of the district under their control. This is a significant advance, because all the tree lines leading to the district were very well fortified, so they needed to be taken first. Furthermore, as I told you in my previous report, Russians are attacking the district from 3 directions. So in the north, after the recent attacks, they were able to expand their zone of control, and have now entered Kreminna. Currently fights have been reported around this forested area. Now the biggest update is coming from Klishchiivka. Since the last 2 days Russian forces have activated this front. They have been attacking the heights as well as the village itself. Yesterday it was reported they were able to recapture nearly 70% of the village. This was visually confirmed as Russian infantry were spotted at the center. After which they continued the fight throughout the night, and tried to push Ukrainian forces from the remaining areas. Recently a Russian tank was spotted at the last houses of western part, where it came under Ukrainian fire. Within a few hours, the 6th Motorized Rifle Division raised their flag at the ruins of the village. Once again Klishchiivka has changed hands. With this advance, Ukraine's counteroffensive effort was undone by Russian forces. Now moving to the Kreminna sector. Before we move forward, if you like my daily reports, consider liking and subscribing. Here Russian forces continued their operation with low to medium intensity. Every now and then, we see videos of Russian tanks attacking Ukrainian positions on this front. However, the situation is stable in terms of frontline change, as Ukraine themselves have a very strong garrison. However, recently we saw big changes at 2 locations. First near Dniprova. As you know, this forest is notorious for very intense fighting. This section of front has one of the most densely fortified trenches, so fights fought here are extremely hard. Latest report says, yesterday Russian forces activated this front, as they launched an intense push towards Torske. And as a result it is said they were able to take this area under their control. Russian sources speculated this activation could be to hold the Ukrainian garrison on this front, and prevent their redeployments. Now at the second location, we recently got a very interesting news. In yesterday's report, Russian Ministry of Defense reported they'd fully liberated Belogorovka. However, like you, many sources were also surprised and skeptical about this advance. Because as you know, this front has been known for very slow movements. In addition, all the commanding heights are under Ukrainian control, so it is not possible to capture the village without the heights. So many sources believe the Russian Ministry of Defense made a mistake. Subscribe for more frontline updates. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.